Good evening. You know, things be so incredible when I go digging in my notes. Okay, I got like 600 notes. So, this one is very special because it was written on November 6th, 2019. Um, this is for Black misogynists. I hope you get the message. Okay. I'm about to read this. Hold on. Let me check this out. Okay. All right. Aaron has the timer on for outside, so I'm going to read this real quick. Gaslighting is the scariest thing ever. The best known form of gaslighting happens to be the institution of racism against anyone of any color. Like Hitler on a whole world scale for a myriad of races, ethnicities, and cultures. Exactly what it is will be demonstrated and swept over with a pulling the race card again. You, the gall of you people, everything isn't about race. I don't even see color for real. Sure, Karen, says you, only in public, while effectively and coincidentally targeting a colored person in pure viciousness, while also using the words and tone, you people, literally only ever used for black people. Otherwise, this conversation wouldn't have to be had. But nobody in America uh, is a racist. I had to say all that to tie into this fact. What is happening with the lack of and the passing of accountability in the African American and Black community is a byproduct of this gaslighting. It's on a micromanaged scale. In order to destroy a race, you need to destroy the woman. They literally had to destroy her psyche time and time again in order to separate us. Women heal themselves. And the proof is in the togetherness witnessed before each new trial. When the trial comes, it's not like women are cowardly. That's not it. But her submission often saves someone's life, and you don't see it that way, black man. The first trial was in slavery. The key for all things was the woman. Broke her psyche by making her watch the mutilation, sodomy, and dismemberment of her man's physical body. When all she had left was his seed to remember him by, if she was blessed to keep it, she had no choice but to protect his offspring by telling him to listen and obey. And this is literally covert emotional incest, by the way. So that's in November of 2019. I didn't learn about it until March of 2020. So I already observed these things. I've shown other proof that I already observed it. I just didn't have a name for it. Okay, so to continue. As if some kind of unspoken pact, every woman followed suit. I'm certain they are sorry to have never been able to witness their child in the real glory and light that he was intended to be. By weakening their offspring's psyche, it is true. She truly is responsible for making generations to come submissive and fall short of manhood. But had she not, a great, great, great grandchild would not be standing here today. No, it's great. Great. People always say, well, they were big black men and they could have all banded together and fought. But the black man's weakness is his woman. And a black woman's weakness is her fear. They would have fought to their death. But when his woman, out of fear for his life, hollers to stop, they stop. And he blames her. Your scary ass made me miss my last chance to freedom, and you're probably in with the master. A bruised ego has and will stay for generations that he could not save his woman. I get it. If the woman weren't weak and fearful, perhaps the story would be different. The woman at this time meant no harm, only survival, but bore you generations. Because of this, here specifically, indigenous African American black men live on. forgive her. She forgave you because after slavery, family is an all-time high. Still we rise, Maya Angelou vibes. But there's a misdiagnosed problem in the community. PTSD. Before it was a soldier thing. Okay? For the men, after years of being forced to get drunk on holidays and fight. Sorry. After years of being forced to impregnate all the women, they carry on these traditions, and sometimes even to forget the atrocities they witnessed, they continued the traditions on to evenings after work until lying about laying with another woman and beating his wife on the regular became the regular. For women, promiscuity was definitely rampant. Fighting back unhinged emotions and abandonment issues, the whole keeping up with the Joneses, plagued these women. This woman has stories of her dead slave grandmother wishing for freedom and to have what them white folks have. The gag is, what them white folks have pops up out of the ground like flowers back home, but they wouldn't even know. They've never been there. They're all disillusioned into working for what is rightfully theirs. But anyway, this is the subsequent and learned behavior passed down from their grandparents and greats. Mostly traumatized slaves, and for a few more generations of the future. Through all of this, they still rose and stuck by each other. Women have forgiven their men again because the next trial comes in when they change the education requirements for a man to make an honest wage and redline them for the American dream in burbs, while simultaneously marketing the welfare system. Most of the women I have spoke to that lived that time did not, and still do not, understand the trap they were in. They genuinely just wanted to help. They now saw their man stressed, trying to provide. It wasn't a running to the white man thing. It wasn't a I don't need a man thing. It was simply a I got you, baby. Let me hustle these folks. It'll be for a short time till you get back on your feet. You don't have to leave for good just when they come, but hurry back on your feet. Instead, the general response from the men was exactly the opposite. How dare you hide me? Did you not have faith that we could make it? You're all about that dollar. The wound, which is his need for validation and healing, is festered. A need he doesn't even understand because it has been inherited through behavior and teachings, intentionally or unintentionally, and the traditions of beating wives and having outside children escalates. And this is when the women say, I don't need this. The government got me. Shortly after, a new test. Enter the government. Damn. Y'all been trying to drown them sorrows in a bottle for like 350 years. Ain't work yet? Shit, I got you. Let me give you this crack. Okay? Everybody failed. Shortly after, new test. And the worst of all, if you get welfare, you gotta file for child support. This was a blow. 828. Men had not forgiven their women, so when a stipulation is added, they are further upset. They're now just fucking over anything and everything. And anyone, and if a woman keeps a child she made in the heat of the moment, it's her fault for opening her legs, and she just wants that white man's money. At this point here is when black women begin to shift and truly were for themselves. That's all about of 30 years of 450. In fact, it's like 27 years, which now is 30 years that I'm saying it today. But it wasn't in slavery. It wasn't in the rise of welfare. It was there. And here's why. At every turn, the black woman did give the black man the opportunity to reconcile. Instead, they harbored the anger and disappointment based on a perception. Instead of understanding her burden, they perceived her burden as self-serving. As a result, the black man tore her down, abandoned her, and after the tomfoolery has been done, and the black woman has finally collapsed under the burdens of both genders, she's being told that she has to be the one to change. For 423 years, she was your backbone, despite the mistreatment. For 423 years, black man has mistreated the black woman unchanged. Only for 27 years has she been wilding out. She attempted to heal you, and many of you did find healing in her pain, but ever since slavery, you have not learned how to use your own power. You have not successfully learned knowledge of self. You have not evolved. You think that you can have a job, be faithful, not hit her, and that makes you some stand-up guy, but your friend can do the complete opposite. You say nothing to him or to her, and when she gets hurt, neither male is to blame, but she shouldn't have been naive. Ever been lied to? Think of the best lie you ever heard that someone got away with. It sounds really believable, doesn't it? You have not done anything to replace or match the energy that black woman has put out for hundreds of years. Problem there is the learned behavior that now includes far more self-degradation that challenges any degradation that a slave owner could inflict. All these years, someone told them they weren't shit, and not a single race, including their own, knows what they have been through. Most women that I know truly understand the situation of the black man, what choices they are faced with, and sometimes are even forced to appreciate them, but benefit from them very little. Very few black men possess a moral compass. When the women's psyche was broken, something that is a trauma, and the way cops think a civilian should remain calm to avoid being harmed, black men 400 years later effectively blamed the black woman for her fearful response. Not even a possibility for rational thought there. So instead of thinking in rational thought for 400 years, you've held a grudge. When she tried again to assist, tried to help you get that American dream, you fucked around in your anger, didn't better yourself at all. Wallowed in self-pity that you lost your woman instead of getting back on your feet and coming to the rescue. Said they can't be trusted? Okay. Don't no woman really want this white man's money anyway. Through the drug epidemic, you are more likely to be a drug and alcohol user than any woman. But just a reminder, drug users specifically used to heal a misalignment in the chakra, okay? This is not a condemnation. Forgiveness and understanding is a must. You know, it's like really weird. A lot of that touches on what I was trying to say about old boy yesterday. I hope y'all get this message. I hope you see this from the perspective of black women. But you know, you might not, and that's okay too. But, you know, I'm here to help. You have a good day.